everybody.
So dudettes, welcome back here with Junior and Junior. So Junior's got some tips about how to develop your listening skills and speaking skills, of course, kind of summarized into one thing. We were talking with another student who's just starting to develop his English skills. He's been studying about a year, and he's starting to speak and understand what he hears. And so Junior was giving him some tips. And I said, Junior, those are great tips. We should record that to share with people online. So Junior's going to tell you how he learned English.
Well, the fact is, in a nutshell, you have to overload your brain with the language that you're trying to learn. So if you are learning French, then you have to get a lot of stuff like videos, podcasts, and stuff like that, so you can be listening to it even though you're not understanding. Not always you're going to understand what people in the language that you learn are saying, which doesn't mean you have to give up. First, when I came to Shock English, I met David, and then we started talking about teaching. I could actually speak a little bit. I could fairly carry out a conversation with David, but it was pretty tough for me to comprehend. I was sometimes I would come to teacher meetings.
You're probably about high level A2, B1.
Something between that, but it turns out I was this kid. I was always curious, Mm-hmm. I was always trying to find something that was, interesting about what I was learning, and English really caught my attention. First off, I can't really explain, but it was really interesting. It really caught my attention. Interesting.
So I met Junior at a party. Somebody had a bridal shower and there was a barbecue, and I was there, and this guy walks up to me and says, "Hey, my name's Junior, I want to speak English, and can I talk English with you?" And so I was like, sure. He came, he started studying, and right away he was really interested, developing quickly, and he said, "Hey, I want to be a teacher." So I was like, okay. So he started watching classes with myself and the other teachers, and he was helping out in the classes. And so he would come to the teachers' meeting, and then Junior one day came and said, "David, it's just not going in my brain. I'm not getting it. It's difficult. I want to give up."
Teenager days, I was 17 years old.
You didn't know what you wanted to do with
I didn't know what I wanted to do in life, and it was you see, one day I was at home thinking, dude, what should I do? But when you get discouraged, dismotivated, you're just I don't really think I should carry away with this.
English is just too difficult.
It's just too hard. I'm just going to give up on it, And I said, I'm going to go to school and talk to David about this. I'm going to tell him that I'm giving up. And seriously, it was a very tough day. I remember that I got some podcasts from you, and then I started listening to it, and I started studying, listening to a lot of those mini stories, listening to a lot of those, and I was like, man, no, there's got to be something different. I've listened to English before, but it looks like this is another level. It's just that breakthrough, level.
Glass ceiling, you got to
That's it, and you get there and you go man, this has been, because going from A1 to A2 is pretty easy, but when you want to go higher, it's just too difficult. It's really, it's discouraging, it's challenging.
You got to break out of your comfort level and do things differently, stretch yourself.
Right, so I told him that I wanted to give up, but then I didn't. I kept on studying and studying. What he said, the way he replied to me was dude, you know what? I'm not going to stop speaking English with you. I'm going to be speaking English with you all the time. And no Portuguese at all. So you're going to have to deal with it.
He came, he's like, "Oh, I'm not getting it. It's too hard. I want to give up." And I knew he didn't want to give up. He just wanted me to take it easy on him, pass my hand over his head and start talking a little bit of Portuguese. So he felt comfortable. I was like, no. I was like, I'm going to keep talking English. You're going to keep practicing and studying, and you're going to get it, and it's going to come.
Mm-hmm. And it eventually it came. I remember the day that I was sitting here in this very same room we're in right now, and I said, David, are you like for some like, are you speaking a little bit slower?
It was interesting because it was like he was sitting there talking with us. All the teachers were there and we were chatting, and all of a sudden his eyes just lit up, and he was like,
it just happened, you know. I didn't know. I can't explain. And then I was
the way you explained it at the time was like, it's like my mind just opened up. You know?
Yeah,
Something that
it was just like overnight.
From one day to the next. And it wasn't that long after we had the first one.
It wasn't. That's why I was saying. I was like, hey, David, did you start speaking slower with me now just because I told you that a while ago? And it was like, no, I'm just
it was probably
speaking
like, what, 1 or 2 months later?
Yeah, I'm just speaking at the normal pace of language. That's the way it is. And I'm like, that's just not true. It can't be. It can't be. And then and they said, that's it, man. And I was like, but because
that subconscious part of your brain just like, okay, we're gonna have to keep listening to this, so we might as well just flip the switch.
Yeah, and then after that day, he encouraged me to like, I'm just gonna speak in English with you. I'm just gonna. Yeah, and then he started doing it, and then just English. Eventually, I learned. It was funny because some of the videos that you guys are gonna see, you might go around the web in our channels. You're gonna see some videos of me right beside him. You can look at my face in despair. I was just completely desperate. Sometimes he would ask me a question, and I was kind of afraid that he would ask me a question that I was not going to be able to answer, comprehend. I will be looking at the camera I didn't really get what he said, so now how can I answer?
He get it, but everybody's watching, so I'm gonna fudge it and say something.
Right, you guys are gonna notice that if you guys go to some other videos that were going a while ago, like 2009, that was pretty much the face. My face was desperate, you know. Right outside, I was trying to fake it. Inside, I was crumbling down. So yeah, and today I consider myself a pretty good English speaker. I'm okay with it. I think that I could already travel abroad and have a job and live abroad and stuff. But it's just I'm really happy, with what I've accomplished, what I've achieved, and I think one of the reasons why my students do a lot of stuff, they work hard to learn English, is probably because I am their motivation. I look at them and I say, see, I've never been abroad. I've never really had much to help me out in learning, but I've gotten here because I wanted to do it. And if you want to do it, you're going to put yourself to it, and you're going to learn. End of story.
That's it. So moral of the story is, if you feel like giving up, don't.
Yeah.
Tip number 1 is listen a lot. Keep listening.
Right.
Don't give up.
Keep listening.
Study like you said, with podcasts, with the transcripts, movies with the subtitles, material with audio. So as you listen, you can see the words and learn what they mean if you don't know them, and learn the pronunciation of the words that you're seeing. Like Junior said, he used a lot of the mini stories and podcasts.
And it's got to be interesting to you.
It's got to be interesting, something that you like and enjoy. And as you do that, you're going to reach a point where it's going to become uncomfortable. You know it, but you just got to make that final push and that breakthrough. It's like a movie.
Push forward.
Where the hero is going and he's developing his superpowers and he's becoming better and better, and then he reaches a point where everything goes terrible, and he's got to make that final push to conquer the villain, rescue the beautiful woman into distress, and save her. So that's what's going to happen with your English. So keep pushing through, practicing, and like Junior, you're going to be that teenage boy who's struggling and frustrated, wanting to give up, to being a fantastic English speaker.
There you are. That's exactly what I was trying to say. You just said it.
All right, so that's it. Y'all have a great day. God bless, and bye-bye.